Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of our show will know by now that we're part of the Creatives Group, the private networking group for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you to create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, therefore enabling you to grow your creative business. If that sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Julie or myself after the show, and we would be delighted to talk to you about your creative business. But this is On the Couch. So, Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
Well, on the couch today is Khalid Abdullah, and he's a former actor who is now a life coach or became a life coach. He found the business models unsatisfactory and frustrating in that many people would stop their coaching relationship at the very point when they needed to continue. So he created a model which helps people to continue their journey post-coaching in their own time and at an affordable cost. Well, let's get him on the couch and he can tell us all about it. Hello, Khalid. Lovely to see you. Welcome on the couch with Creatives.
Thanks for having me on the couch, Julie.
And Melanie.
And Melanie.
We know you personally because we have met you. And you're such an interesting person that we really wanted to get you on the couch, not just because you are a very creative person, but because you also have these life coaching skills that we're interested in as well, because everybody, even creatives, need life coaching at some point in their life. So could we start off with you telling us about how you became an actor when you were a young man?
Yes. Well, the story goes like this. I did a part in the school play when I was 18. Just I was leaving school. I had no inclination towards theatre or anything like that. And I had one line in the play, a play called The Physicist. My line was out. And when my cue came, I missed it. And I thought, well, that was good. There's only one performance, so I'll miss my line. And then afterwards, the biology teacher said to me, you should be an actor. And I thought he was talking nonsense at the time. Fast forward 3 years, I'm sitting in my office in my first job, and as an insurance clerk, I'm thinking, this is nuts. I can't see myself staying in insurance for the rest of my life. What am I going to do? And I suddenly remembered the biology teacher saying, become an actor. And I thought, yes, that's what I should do. It was like manna dropping from heaven, honestly, when that idea dropped into my head. I then spent the next year auditioning, and I got into drama school, and I became an actor. So it was like a gift to me, when I was searching for what I should spend my time doing.
Well, I find it interesting that you say your first line was one word, ouch, and you missed it. But you became a Shakespearean actor, didn't you?
I did, and I was very lucky to meet a great teacher, and that's what every actor needs. If you want to learn the craft of acting, and that's what I was interested in, to learn the craft of acting. So I've been very fortunate, Julie. I met a man called Terry Palmer, who was a director, and we were doing Othello, and he directed me in Othello. At the last performance at drama school, we then, the people in that production, or the core members, then formed our own company. And we spent 2 years doing Shakespearean plays, being directed by this guy, Terry, who was a fantastic mentor and teacher of acting. And he taught people like Glenda Jackson and John Hurt, specifically Shakespeare, not general acting. He taught those two Shakespeare as well. And I got the benefit of working with him as a very young person. So any actor who wants to join the profession, you need to find a good mentor or someone who's going to teach you the craft.
Good advice.
And besides playing Othello, I assume you took the title role in Othello. Did you Did you play any other title roles? Because, you know, Shakespeare is, you have to learn huge chunks of, you know, of script that isn't obviously conversational modern English.
No. And actually, on that point, Terry's method was learn all your lines first, and then you can become creative. So the first time when I worked with him, he walked out after 2 days because he said, "You obviously don't know your lines. I'll come back when you do." I was completely in shock. But yes, I played Orsino in Twelfth Night. I played Oberon in Midsummer Night's Dream. We did our own plays. I played Autolycus in Winter's Tale. We used to tour them around schools and small venues. And in those days, you could get money from schools for that. That's how long ago it was. So, yeah, I learned my craft that way and did a lot of Shakespeare. I even did Richard III. I even played Buckingham and Richard III because we used to cross cast. We were a small group, so we had to play all the different parts, some of us, yeah.
And what made you decide to leave the acting profession?
I didn't decide to leave, but what happened was I had a pretty rough year. I've been doing it about a dozen years, and then I had a bit of a rough year. I won't go into all the different details. I've been off on a long tour, and I came back and I decided to have a year off. That's what I decided to do. I needed to have a year off to get my life together in all aspects of it. And I didn't miss the profession. That was strange, wasn't it? But I think I realized that maybe it was time to move on when I didn't miss it, you know?
Yeah, because it's tough. Touring is tough.
Yeah. And it wasn't very well paid. You know, I mean, I got to the age in the early 30s when I thought, well, actually, I need to earn some money now, you know. And actors, theatre actors, the jobbing non-celebrity theatre actor is not that highly paid, I'm afraid. And especially when you have to have big gaps in between jobs, it became untenable for me, to be honest. I think I realized that subconsciously and got into social housing instead.
That's a very big leap from actor to social housing. But it's true.
Well, I can tell you how it was made, Melanie. It was simply because I didn't have anywhere to live and I joined a housing co-op and you had to do it all yourself. So in those days as well, if you were a volunteer in a housing co-op, that constituted as enough experience to get a job in social housing. So that's what I did. It's quite an easy transition in the end.
See, right place, right time.
Mm.
And then how did you get into life coaching? Because that has been your main business since then.
It has. Well, I wouldn't say my main business, but certainly in terms of the way I live, definitely the way that I live my life. I live my life like I'm coaching everybody, coaching myself all the time and coaching other people. It's not like coaching it's not the coaching itself, it's the behavior that comes from the coaching that became my way of life. But I got into that. I applied as a social housing worker for an NVQ Trainers Award. That's what happened. And I decided, as I used to be an actor and I loved character building and all that, I would do personal development. I didn't even know what personal development was. I don't know where I got that from. Another one of my lucky moments in life. And so when I did my NVQ modules, they said, well, now you have to do a bit on your personal development side. I happened to meet a friend of mine. I went to a birthday party. I met a lady there who invited me to a seminar, which was about men and women. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went to that, and it turned out to be run by a company that was a personal development company. And to cut a long story short, I ended up doing their flagship course. And that completely changed my life, completely transformed my life. A long weekend training program. And that set me on the course to becoming what eventually would be a life coach. Yeah.
But now in your biography, it says very clearly that you eventually came to the realization that a lot of life coaching models didn't support people after their life coaching sessions?
Yes, because actually coaching, it kind of guides you onto a path towards a certain way of living, a more powerful way of living. And unless you do it intensively, like I did, it's quite difficult to maintain, actually, because we live in a toxic environment, and in terms of behavior and self-esteem and confidence and things like that. And so how do you maintain it? And I did do some one-to-one coaching for a while, and then people would, it's quite expensive. It's like having a counselor all the time. It's like going to counseling, except it's even more expensive than that. And I wanted to come up with a way of supporting people so that they can support themselves in maintaining their new habits and new ways of living. So I've designed a system over a period of years, I have to say, because I did work as a life coach in a prison for a while, and I picked up the key tool for that in the manual in that coaching job, which ended because the charity went bust. So I've been on that quest for quite a long time. I'm 25 years. And only recently I've had a bit of a breakthrough in financing what would be an online program that would enable people to grasp the basic principles of coaching and embed it in their lives. And I've come up with tools that will allow them, and they're creative tools, actually. They're not, how do I put it, that send you on a journey. Tools that will send people on a journey and they can maintain it themselves, self-coaching. So that's basically what I'm driving at. Wow.
And do you have a website where people can get these sessions from you?
Well, we haven't gone public yet, so we're still in research and development phase, but we're going to launch in September. I have got a website, www.planetvillage.co.uk. So keep your eyes out on that website, and that will be announced in September when we launch our flagship program, Love and Relationships in the 21st Century. And I've also been I'm just doing the due diligence for a project which will enable us to be funded to create an ebook targeted at the African Caribbean community and people who support the African Caribbean community. That means everybody. But so I did apply for some funding for that, and I got that, but we have to do the due diligence at the moment before we actually get approved for the grant. September is our launch, really, and planetvillage.co.uk is where the information will be found. You can sign up for our newsletter. We're going to have a newsletter, and any information about work that we'll be doing will be up there.
Super. Now talk a little bit about life coaching. I've had a few sessions with a life coach, and purely because I was interested in finding out what it was about. And of course, you can only, if you have an opportunity to improve your life, then go for it. But I did find what you mentioned, that once I had done the paid sessions, I never heard from him again.
Yes. Well, that's it. It's the same relationship you would have with a counselor. You pay for your sessions and that's it. So what I found about it is it kind of, the whole essence of life coaching, the principle of it is the same as sports coaching. So if you were a tennis player, you would have a coach. A professional tennis player has a coach. Why do they have a coach? Because they need that objectivity. They need someone there to say, no, you need to do your backhand better, or your forehand is, et cetera, et cetera. You need to improve this. So a life coach is has the same role in a person's life, except that, of course, in our culture, it hasn't been that popular, has it, in the past, to have outside of religious life, to have a coach in that sense, or a mentor, someone who you can role model. Role model comes to mind as well. But coaching is about getting the best performance, getting the best out of your life, fulfilling your potential as a human being. That's how I see it. And so, yeah, to have someone there all the time would be very expensive. So I found a way to automate that and to use role model. The book is about role modeling, using role models to fulfill the function of getting the best out of your personal life journey.
That's interesting.
And what do you charge? How many sessions do you give a person? What do you charge?
I don't do one-to-one coaching anymore. I don't do one-to-one coaching. I'm currently setting up our love and relationships online course. Will be available from September onwards, so you can book that. And we haven't decided a price, but it's going to be a low entry price. It's going to be something like 80 quid or something for a 6-module course. And that will give you the foundations of self-care, self-love, loving. What I use the word love a lot. I don't mean it in a romantic way. I mean it in a broad way of really loving life, loving being alive. And also there's this huge issue of self-esteem that I came across when I worked in prison. People have very low self-esteem, which brings out negative behaviors. And so loving yourself, what I mean by loving yourself is having a high self-esteem, acknowledging what a great human being you are, because we all are, potentially. And so I'm lost in the conversation now, but the whole idea of the online programs is that people can have access to it and have a holistic treatment of themselves and come away with some tools as well that they can use for the rest of their lives. And I decided I wanted to do it that way. So the emergence of online learning has been fantastic in that respect for coaching. But in our business model, it's truly holistic because we allow our customers to participate in the profit center. And that's a completely different subject. But if you share our online digital projects with your friends and associates, you can earn a commission. And that is new to the coaching industry, I believe. I don't know any other coaches that do that.
Well, that's a very good idea because you have that'll motivate the whole ripple effect, won't it?
I hope so. And there won't involve a lot of selling. We found a way. I won't divulge what that is. But I mean, I'll say we tell stories. That's a broad term for we tell digital stories digitally, and that's how we spread the product. So you won't have to sell it. People won't have to sell it. They'll just spread the stories, and people can click on a link if they like it, and they can buy or they can not buy. It's up to them. So that's basically the model behind that. And the reason for that, of course, from my company's point of view, I don't have to do. I get my customers. I turn them into salespeople. In that sense, but also I enable them to participate. I'm not here to sort of make multi-millions for myself. That's the current model. I like the idea of the community participating in what I have to offer in that way.
I think that's a very lovely thing, and I think more people would benefit from that kind of thinking. But you've obviously had a wealth of experience, Khalid, from your acting days through to your coaching days, and you obviously have a very generous spirit and you like to bring community and people together. What would your top tips be for somebody who is listening to you and wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Well, it depends on which craft. I mean, as I said, in acting, find yourself a good mentor or a teacher, someone who knows their stuff and is corroborated by others. And in terms of coaching, go to a good foundational coaching organization. Coaching really is part of emotional intelligence, I would say. So the best emotional intelligence company that I know is the one I went to, and that's Landmark Education. And they used to be called Landmark Education. They're now called Landmark Worldwide. And don't worry, I'm not getting paid by them to say this. I just happen to train there, and they are the best, actually. I haven't seen anyone better. But there are lots of coaching companies who teach you how to be a coach for a fee. A lot of them vary, I find, and how do I put it? I'm glad I never went to any of them. I went to Landmark Education, who gave me a basic learning in emotional intelligence. So the foundation of coaching is emotional intelligence and emotional, which helps you build your emotional resilience.
Yeah.
And in terms of becoming a coach, setting up your own coaching company, there are many, many options. Again, which are the good ones? I'm just doing one at the moment called Positive Intelligence, which is really good, and it's affordable, more affordable than others that I've come across. But you can also go to places like Mind Valley; they're quite good. And I like what they offer, and I'm a member of I'm one of their members, and I've come across the Coaching Academy, but I've had kind of negative feedback from in that the cost, and they made it an academic subject, which it isn't actually. It is not an academic subject.
No, I think coaching, you have to have understanding, you have to have empathy. It's a very human, soft. So it's one of the softer skills, isn't it? It's like coaching.
Yeah, you do have to have the skill. Yeah, it is soft skills, but you do need to have those skills. Don't get me wrong. You do need to have those techniques and skills. But I think there's this kind of how do I put it? Monetization of the coaching industry, which is taking place where people are paying like thousands of pounds, 5, 6, 7,000 pounds to become a life coach, which is not necessary. You can go to Landmark Education for hundreds of pounds and get a better grounding, in my view.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good advice. I see Melanie is grabbing her Values Jam cards. Has she told you about this?
She may have done, but I've probably forgotten.
Okay, you are going to pick a card, and there is going to be a value on that card, and Melanie is going to ask you some questions about that value. And you need to just blurt out what first comes into your head. So there's no right or wrong answer. And even if you think it sounds ridiculous, you have a creative mind. So we want to know what's going on in that mind of yours.
Yeah.
Wow. You're one of the very few people on the planet who wants to do that.
This is the on the couch bit of the on the couch interview.
Okay.
We're going to creatively go inside your mind. Okay, Khalid, I'm going to run my finger along my cards, and you say stop when you want me to pick a card.
Stop.
Stop. Right, let's see what you picked. Oh, this is quite a good one for you. Our guests do pick the most pertinent cards. I'm always quite amazed that it's always so brilliant. And the cards come out. Oh, you picked a great card.
Well,
Right.
Let's see it.
You picked enjoyment.
Right.
So, Khalid, we're going to ask you creatively, what does enjoyment mean to you? If you can see it, physically see it, what would it look like to you?
Oh, if I could physically see it, it'd be a football. That's one of the images that come to mind.
Brilliant. That's what we want. The first thing that comes into your head. What does it feel like?
It feels like warm. It feels warm and bubbly.
Warm and bubbly.
It's funny you should say that, because I was thinking through my head, if Melanie had asked me that question, I would have said bubbly.
Yeah. Fizzy went through my head,
bubbly.
like fizzy pop. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? If it had a sound, what would it sound like?
Oh, that's a good one. It would sound loudish. It would sound like if you heard a group of voices of people laughing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
If you were at a distance, you could hear a group of people laughing and having a good time. That would be how it would sound.
You mean like your neighbours having a barbecue in their garden?
That's it, exactly that. And they're having a fantastic time, and then there is unbridled joy, unbridled. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know.
Well, on that note, I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us on the couch. It's been delightful to talk to you. And I think we will talk to you further down the line, especially when you've got this new business up and running. It sounds really interesting. But in the meantime, thank you for your time, Khalid. And it's been wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, Julie. And thank you, Melanie, for inviting me to the couch. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Good. We've enjoyed having you. It's been a delight as always. But that's it. We've run out of time again. So until next time, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you.